The number 14. It's a fairly average number. Nothing wrong with it, just nothing spectacular about it either. It's the amount of days in a fortnight, the number of lines in a sonnet, the maximum amount of clubs a golfer is allowed to carry in a bag. I know, weird, right? Now apply that number to something more meaningful. Let's say to the Human Rights Act, for example. Suddenly it takes on a totally different role. It has a far more significant purpose that some of us still fail to realize and acknowledge. Now if you have reached this point of the video, and you think that I'm still just referring to the number 14, then you are just further proving my point. And who knows, this video may enlighten you. Or not. You may not care. You should, but you know, you may not. Oh, human right? Speaking of human rights, that's so gonna regret that later on. Now, where was I? Yeah. Although you shouldn't be, for those who are absolutely clueless as to what human rights are, it is defined as the right which is to believe to belong to every person. Now this covers a variety of things such as the right to own a house, the right to an education, and also the right to marriage. Now back to number 14. One of those rights, which is also known as Article 14, hence the number, is the right to be protected from discrimination. Now this may seem simple enough to enforce, just don't discriminate anyone, right? But time and time again we read in the newspapers and see in the media countless examples of it. And those are just ones big enough to make the headlines. Not to mention all the other counts of discrimination that go under the radar and are not dealt with. Now I could go into some facts and numbers about discrimination, but between you and me, are you tired of life just becoming another statistic for these so-called experts to analyze? Now the Human Rights Act has been made law in certain countries, including the UK. Good on you, UK. However, certain countries does not mean all countries. In fact, people in countries that don't enforce these acts are facing some of the most hostile reception we've ever witnessed in decades. In addition to this, an enforced law does not mean, and I repeat, does not mean the eradication of discrimination in these countries. After all, rules were meant to be broken, right? Before I continue with this video, I just want to make a statement. If you, the viewer, did not see me eventually relaying all this back to a certain American president in power, then, I don't know, seriously? Come on, people. Let's take the United States of America, for example. The land of the free and home of the brave. Well, if they've just appointed Mr. Donald Trump into power, and I think it's pretty safe to say that some events that have happened during his campaign, as well as his presidency, have had some questionable agendas, to say the least. Now, I'm not going to pretend that I'm an expert at American politics, because the reality of it is, I'm not. But anyone who looks at America's situation at face value can come to some conclusion that they are discriminating against certain races and religions. It doesn't take a genius to see that. I guess what I'm trying to say in this video is that discrimination is still very real, despite the rules and regulations put in place to prevent it. I don't want to come off with some tyrant demanding people to be nice to each other. It just isn't me. Instead, I want to make you aware that discrimination exists and you don't have to go out of your way to make sure it doesn't on your own behalf. Besides, the safety and well-being of our fellow peers should be down to how we treat them and not of ruling with a number.